Hey, welcome to the Cypher. I am your host, Tony B, with my brother from another mother, Mike T. Root to the good bros.
Rule, and got to say that we are brought to you by our friends at Major League Football, AET, and the Greek Ohana Action League.
The Greek Ohana Action League, where we're bringing sororities and fraternities together. If you are a member of the Greek Letter Society and would like to network and advertise your business with us, you can find us at Tony B at GreekOhanaActionLeague.net. And let's get connected.
All right. And today on our show, our main topic today is P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs.
P. Diddy. All right. The quote of the day is, before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig two graves. That's Confucius. That's hardcore, man. Yeah, you just dropped that on me, didn't you?
Yeah, man. So pretty much if you go out there looking for revenge, you may have to dig a grave for that person that you're getting revenge for and yourself, because you're going to lose who you are. That's how I interpreted it.
You know what? That's going to tie into my lesson. So we're going to talk about when we have a teachable moment. That's going to tie into my teachable moment. So it sounds good. It's really good that you brought that up.
Okay, man. Didn't want to steal your thunder, but and as always, if you like what you see, or if you have an idea for content, or would like to be a guest on the show, please hit that like button or smash that like button. Also hit subscribe to our show. It really, really helps.
All right. Now, today's main topic, you said, was Diddy. Oh, what are we going to talk about this guy?
Well, just to give you a background about what's going on with Diddy, he has been indicted on a lot of sex charges or whatever. So, and a lot of things are coming up about this man, So, what is your first initial thought about what's going on with him?
Diddy wanted to be the next age Hugh Hefner.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to have the grotto and the crib where all the stars came at and got freaky and wild and all types of stuff. In the beginning, they were like, yeah, all those Diddy parties were recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in Hollywood started getting nervous.
Well, I always say he's like the Black Jeffrey Epstein. And, this kind of funny thing about it, there has been a lot of videos, a lot of hints that has been going on with all this stuff. But, sometimes, we as a community don't want to believe it and take it as, credible. When people start saying that, oh, man, you are an attractive man, no Diddy. They start coming up with different sayings and everything. But, like me, I was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff is coming to light. And did you hear about that discovery of all that baby oil?
They said that 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. Wow, dog, 1,000 bottles. That's enthusiasm. That is enthusiasm. There's 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. I mean, listen, I'm not saying I'm wild like that. I probably got about 3, 4 around the crib, but
Say a lot of baby oil at the crib and a lot of old, dry, crusty socks. But, yeah, but maybe Diddy's giving those like that baby oil like gift packages for people that sign a contract. They get a complimentary bottle of baby oil.
Or a bucket, or a big giant crate full, because he's got it laying around the crib. Wow. Yeah. That's the things, the allegations that were made against him. It was funny till we saw that hotel video when he started stomping old girl. Then everybody kind of looked at him like, dog, what's really going on? Then they investigated further. Now, here's a question that I have. Mm-hmm. Let's say you are a celebrity and you fly a honey out and she's of age. And y'all get wild and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that sex trafficking?
Well, I would not consider that as it because it's also under consent, and she is not a minor. Because it was just kind of like flying your friend now. You guys are hanging out, and whatever happens, after that, probably be the cherry on top or whatever. But
Now,
I wouldn't consider that as trafficking,
now
especially with consent.
this woman said he drugged me and then he took advantage of me. And what they were saying, what other people were saying is she came out here, smoked up with us, took drugs with us, and partied with us. When is it abuse? And when is it what was going on? It goes back to the whole Bill Cosby thing. Did Bill Cosby drug these women? Or was it the 70s and everybody was popping roofies and getting wild and crazy?
Yeah,
Cosby got lots of honeys and nobody was twisting anybody's arm in regards to who was the party with them. And he was very, 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 very upfront with the fact that I pop roofies. He even had it in his skit. He called it Spanish Fly. He said, oh yeah, you get the girl on the Spanish Fly and she turned into a freak. Everybody laughed and thought it was hilarious. And now you gonna come back a little later. I mean, dude, if you get freaky with a girl and smack her in the ass, you can't say I beat you.
Right. Well, it still could be under consent, and this is my thing.
It's under consent, but you see, you look back at it under the eyes of your kids because now you're 50 years old and your kids are grown and going, did dad used to tie you up and spank you? Now you go, he abused me. I don't hear that shit.
Yeah, and my thing is like this. Once you take away, like with certain kind of drugs or whatever, like Spanish Fly, whatever, roofies, roofinol, whatever they call it. But once you take consent away from that person, because that's kind of like involuntary consent that's being taken away from that person, now you go on the lines of rape. So that is my thing. So that's why, even in college, they tell us, if girls are very intoxicated, even though she may consume the alcohol herself, but she is not cognitively available to give a consent, so
you're saying if I drink and she drinks and then something happens, it's my fault because she was not giving me total consent because she wasn't in right mind, but I was drunker than she was. And I mean, it's such a slippery slope. It's ridiculous. Now,
yes,
and 1,000%, I don't condone. I believe there needs to be consent with everything, and there's enough beautiful women in the world, enough beautiful people. I'm not even going to say limited to women, just in case, regardless of who's watching it, they feel that whatever your orientation, if you like puppies, it's great. There's enough beautiful puppies that are of age that you don't have to dip into you're grown dogs. You don't have to dip into the puppy pool. You can go with somebody mature and grown. I mean,
right.
You always protect the kids regardless of what orientation they are or whatever. That's why it kills me that you got these people that are attacking the trans kids. And it's like, I thought you were there to protect the children. How are you attacking a child? And it makes no sense. But it's my confusion is this. I had somebody tell me once that they wanted to do some really, really freaky stuff, like multiple people type of thing.
Okay. Ooh, nice.
And then tell me it didn't happen. It didn't happen. But tell me later, oh my God, you were gonna let me do it. And I'm like, you're a grown woman.
What
if I told you no, then I'm an overbearing asshole. But if I told you yes, now I didn't stop you from doing what you said that you wanted to do in the first place. Are you gonna tell me that oh my God, you were gonna let me?
Right.
Exact words were, you were gonna set me out. And I'm like, you were gonna set yourself out.
And you said 3 people?
Huh?
You said around 3 people?
Oh, no, I said multiple.
Multiple. Okay. So,
I didn't put a number on it.
I got to ask you a question about that. So, do goats consent since they can't speak English? No, I'm just joking. But hey, I want you to think about this.
It's my relationship, bro. Don't judge me. Okay?
Hey, but I want you to think about this too when it comes to consent and everything, because, like you said, it is a very slippery slope. because even if a person sign like documents, a will or whatever, they have to be in the right mind and body to say that they were of cognitive, I guess, dissidence or whatever, to make sure that they knew what they were doing. So that's why, like you said, you can go out and have drinks. That person can voluntarily have drinks or whatever, or even, do other things. But you're not forcing that person, and we don't know if that person said no or not. So it's always a tough thing
because of the fact that somebody can always come back after the fact and say no. But what movie was that? The Rosewood.
Yeah.
Okay. She regretted what she did, so she blamed it on somebody else, and everybody got killed in the tent.
Yep. And remember that Duke LaCrosse.
She consented in the beginning,
right?
And then afterwards, she regretted it, so she blamed it on somebody else.
Yep. And remember that Duke lacrosse team?
Yeah.
The girl got rather embarrassed about everything, and things started coming out, and then she kind of said, the truth kind of came out. But a lot of people were harmed, but not to the extent of Rosewood.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's very, very powerful, and people.
What about the officer who set it out to the entire? She got paid. She got paid like she set it out to the entire police department, and she was married.
Yes, she was married. Yes.
Set it out to the entire police department. And then she said, they took advantage of me. And the judge said, you sure right. How did I say that she set it out to the judge?
Yeah, probably when her husband was questioning her after she got caught, he said, just please tell me they weren't black.
And she was like, well, four of them were.
She said, I gotta say, it wasn't me, So unfortunately, I'm just joking on that one. But yeah, you really got to be careful about that stuff.
Just the whole thing. You ask me why I don't go out and I stay in the crib, because there's less knuckleheads in the crib than there are out there.
That's right. And speaking of Diddy, though, like since he has been indicted, not just the baby oil, not just the hundreds of, I would say, instruments that were found at his residence. And now since you mentioned the Cassie thing, yeah, I had to say instruments.
It's instruments.
Non-musical.
Well, you don't know,
bro. So they say actually 100 of these instruments were found at his residence.
Didn't they say 700?
Yeah, I think around 700, man.
Damn.
And the question you got to really ask yourself, hopefully these things weren't recyclable. They were just one-time usage. Could you imagine someone giving you like one of those instruments and you're like, oh, okay, is this a seafood version?
No, listen. I'm still kind of blown away because like I said, it's funny until you think about Justin Bieber being 14. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you go like this. Usher was what, 15? So it's like, the stories that come out about Christopher Williams and all them brothers. It's like, damn, dude. It's my issue is this. Imagine if he used his powers for good. As corny as that sounds, you could be freaky, but you don't have to be over the top, ridiculous, horrible type freak. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Instead of being, who's the dude that was doing all the sex stuff in Hollywood?
Epstein.
No,
Harvey Weinstein.
Instead of being Weinstein, you could be a Ron Howard and blow stuff up. You know what I mean? And put people on point and really discover new talents and sponsor new people and develop new. You know what I mean? The Black Panther, when he was at Howard, got assistance from Denzel Washington because he saw something in him. Then he could have been inspiring and really bringing things up. But what he was down on was some freaky stuff, trying to be the next Hugh Hefner. And it's. Yeah. I think it would have been different if Biggie was there. I honestly believe that.
And some people say this. I've heard a quote. I guess I forgot who's the name of the author of the quote. He said, "When you have so much money, sometimes you don't care about just, after you finish buying everything that you can always want to buy, now you try to get control. Control is the next high that you try to get. So, you kind of hear things about the Epstein parties. You hear things about the, what's it called, it, Bilderberg out in California, where all these politicians and they have these secret parties, so sometimes, that lust may go from not just buying materialistic things, but it's also power and control over people. And unfortunately, some of that control can be, go into like, I'm gonna control your body, I'm gonna control your mind, even if you don't like it. So I think that's probably be the next step.
They said Diddy was like, I can do this because I'm the man and nobody can stop me. I mean, that's some great stuff. Imagine if he had put that energy into the music department at Howard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or put that energy into creating scholarships for Black folks to go to HBCUs. Imagine this. Imagine a Diddy scholarship. You give $100 million or whatever it is scholarship, because HBCUs are traditionally less expensive than traditional normal rate.
The PWIs, yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, that means that you can send more Black folks to college for less expensive and really discover themselves and be able to support themselves. He could have been doing that stuff as opposed to, I mean, he gave $1 million to Howard. Yay. Okay, how much of an impact could he really have made if he had just focused his energy? I mean, dude, if you want to have 10 chicks, you want to have 20 chicks. But the stuff that he was doing was off the
right. Because you have those millionaires like Bill Gates. You always hear about the Gates Foundation, how they donate so much money. I mean, he could be part of the Bilderberg. I just don't know. But, and then you have someone like Jeff Bezos. You rarely hear this guy ever do anything. So sometimes, I think with that kind of wealth and responsibility, I mean, you should have more of a moral compass. But, at the same time, I'm not trying to get in everyone's pocket. But, do something for your fellow man. That's how we grow as a human race. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it doesn't take a lot to uplift somebody, because 9 times out of 10, it's kind of like lifting weights. I don't need for you to lift 225 pounds. I can lift 220. You help me with that last 5 and it gets it up. You know what I mean? That's basically how it is. I don't need for you to hand feed me a job or whatever. What I need for you to do is to give me a chance so that I can show you I can do that job. And what they doing now with the pulling back affirmative action and all of these things, you don't have to be prejudiced to pick somebody that reminds you of yourself. And if all of the leaders are white and they pick somebody that reminds them of themselves, then how do the brothers break in? How do the women break in? How do Latinos break in? How do we get anybody else in there except for the white group? And they don't have to be bigots to do that. That's just what you typically do. When you look at your daughter, deep down, you want to find a football player that's going to take care of your daughter, because you know what? That's who I am. It's what I do. You want to find a nice, articulate brother to be able to present to your baby girl. It's because, not that you're a bigot, it's because of the fact that you look for somebody that shows you the same qualities that you have. That's fantastic. But at the same time, it's like, dude, man, how do we put an end to this thing?
Yeah. Like that one quote from Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
For sure.
And the last thing, well, not the last thing I want to talk about, but, there's one thing I do want to think about, it's kind of comical, because sometimes you did have all these stars and celebrities that talked about, oh man, Diddy had the parties. They had the parties. They were actually boasting and bragging about it. And now they're kind of like trying to say, yeah, Kevin Hart was like one of these guys at the parties. And now he's kind of like trying to retract himself from that party. So it's kind of comical. It kind of reminds me, we had this guy in East St. Louis. They call him Boss Man McGee, right? This was like in the 1980s, late 80s and 90s. He was a big drug dealer who had a lot of money. So he had the cars, the money, the clothes, the jewelry, and a lot of the girls used to always say, "Oh yeah, I kick with that's my boyfriend. I love him. I love this." And then it came out that he had HIV, and then people start trying to backtrack, involvement with him. But so it kind of reminded me how the whole Diddy thing.
That was in the 80s though, right?
What'd he say?
It was in the 80s though.
Yeah, I think it was the 80s or early 90s or whatever.
HIV in the 80s is like you are a ticking time bomb, you are about to die.
Yeah, right, because they really didn't understand it.
They didn't.
Yeah, so you have all these celebrities right now coming out, or actually trying to, be silent on it, even though they were bragging and boasting about going to his parties, and I don't know how they're going to recover from that. What do you think that like Hollywood or the media will portray them for being actively participants in this party?
Bro, they specifically honed in on one person.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
Oh yeah.
She was all hugging up on Weinstein. She was hugging up on Trump. She was hugging up on everybody. Diddy. She did all types of videos with Diddy. So yeah, if you think that there's closed door meetings going on with the upper echelon, you know that Oprah's sitting at one of the big tables. And so it's like you look at her like, oh my God. She was like, oh my God, this is such a horrible thing. And you sit back and go, is it?
Right. Because you got to think about it. Typically, money hangs around money. If you one of the guys that got billions of dollars, you're going to hang around billionaires. If you one of the guys that probably have like about maybe $5 in your checking account, typically you're going to hang around other people with $5 in their checking account. It kind of goes hand in hand. The birds of the feather flock together.
That's why you judge by the company you keep. But that's absolutely crazy because you know that she knew all of them. She knew everybody. She knows everything that goes on and whatever. Because what are they going to hide from her? I mean, I'm sure her hands are not. Let's say her OJ gloves fit.
So it just slips right on,
Saying that isotone probably go all the way up to her elbow. She yeah. And I doubt she doesn't. I doubt she doesn't have some baby oil someplace.
Well, you can't spell Oprah without the O for oil. So
absolutely.
So well, go ahead.
No, I'm just amazed how much that can that's going to when the files really come out. That's going to affect a lot of people. Like I said, everybody wanted to go to a Diddy party, get crazy. You saw LeBron James was like, party like a Diddy party, and you're looking at him now like, ooh, that shit didn't age well, did it?
He said, I didn't mean Diddy, I meant Riddy, old boy, John Riddy. But I know that we're probably already making our judgment on him. He's just indicted for right now. So like you said, more stuff on the story has to come out.
No, it's kind of like Chris Brown. I like Chris Brown. Do I go out of my way to buy his stuff? Probably not, Rihanna. I mean, I don't really know what it was that turned me away from Chris Brown, Rihanna. I mean, it just happened. You know what I mean? With Diddy, you'd be like, what does it say? I'm Coming Out is a totally new song now. Right. You listen to that song, you be like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Well, Diddy just, I guess he was Diddy, but like I said, I have nothing against his, whatever he does orientation, but just don't force people to do it.
Hey, listen, I like baby oil too. I'm just saying, if I was that rich, I'm gonna tell you two things. I would have a lot of baby oil. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Take that higher you want. But I'd have a monkey too, because I think monkeys. Michael Jackson had a monkey, and it was the coolest shit. And I'm telling you, I would have a monkey too. I know I would have a monkey. I would be walking through a zoo one day and would be like, word.
You're trained the monkey to warm the baby oil to your temperature of your liking.
Listen, once again, don't judge me for what goes on in my mind. That's some personal shit. That's me. On that note, I think we're gonna have to wrap that one up. Our main topic was brought to you by Major League Football. Major League Football, it's coming, man. It's coming. You're looking at 24 teams, and we're getting one here in St. Louis. So for more information about corporate partnership packages, call 314-266-8304 and let the games begin.
Yeah, man. So we are excited about football. And speaking of football, actually, I was just looking at I guess a video on YouTube yesterday, and how people were saying that St. Louis was cursed with professional football, and because the St. Louis Cardinals left, and or the Big Red as we used to call them, and also the St. Louis Rams went back to LA. So you got to be excited for Major League Football coming back to St. Louis.
Listen, see, the cool thing about it is that they're talking about following the format of Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So having a team that would be owned by the city so that it would never leave.
That would be awesome.
That's what I mean. St. Louis, listen, the Cardinals weren't yours to begin with. I'm just saying they came from Chicago. Look it up. But yeah, they left. They went. The dad left out to buy some cigarettes, and he bounced. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. But when the Rams were stepdad to begin with, and he went back to his wife. Man, look out, man. So at this point, having a new team, they would be playing at the Dome, and when you look at the attendance for the other football teams that St. Louis had, it was through the roof. The participation was ridiculous. So that you definitely have a lot of people that are interested in what we have going on.
That's right. So the next thing on the agenda is the
teachable moment.
Teachable moment.
That's where we're at. Teachable moment is something that we like to try to share some knowledge, something that we came up on. Every now and then you get that Jedi moment and you be like, word, I did that right. And then you want to pass that knowledge along. So tell me what's on your mind, Mike.
Yeah, what's on my mind is something that, I think about, like a lot of times when I work in groups, or just it could be a work environment, or people in your home or whatever, when you're in a group thing and you're trying to get things across or whatever. I always want to say sometimes silence is the key. Silence is how you learn, so we get, very, very emotional or whatever. Sometimes we talk about different things, but we always want to make sure that we listen to the other person. And, that is my basic teachable moment.
Oh, that's amazing that you said that. Mine is exactly that. So the kid is driving the caddy down the street. It's 270. Everything is going smooth. I'm in the right lane because I'm going to get off in the next, not the next exit, but the exit after next, right? And traffic was kind of thick. Now this dude that was driving this big F-250 pulls up right alongside me and then just literally pushes me right off the road.
Oh, man.
And I put on my brakes. And I let him pass me, and I pull up, and I'm fuming, right? And I pulled up next to him, and dude is sitting there. All this Trump shit. And I said nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for y'all that don't know me, that is almost impossible. I don't know if you realize it, but I talk a lot. You know what I mean? Shout outs to my third grade teacher who told me I talk way too damn much. Appreciate you. But the fact that I didn't do that, because it's not It's not the shit that happens to you, it's the reaction that you give to it. Okay. I had a young lady in the back of my car. I was driving Uber when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't notice that it happened. That's how zen I was about it. I could have snapped off. I could have jumped out. A couple years ago, I might have done that. Now we're in a red state. It's legal for them. If I jump out at him, it's legal for him to pull a gun and kill me.
Yeah.
Because if he's like that, more than likely, just going off the demographics, he probably has a gun, probably has it on him, and was probably looking to try to start some shit. You could see by the stickers on his car, yeah, this is the type of guy that would do that. And if I jumped out, that's enough intimidating. Enough of an intimidating factor for him to be able to pull his gun and kill me and then say, well, it's his fault and get away with it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we talk about the Confucius thing. I see why you piggybacked on that.
Exactly.
Because, digging two graves, sometimes a man that walks away, he may walk away from the battle, but he still survives the war, and let that karma take care of that guy.
It wasn't even a battle. That's what I'm saying. Dude, if you had turned on your blinker, I would have let your bitch ass in. But you know what? What you want to do is legitimately push me off the road. And he pushed me off the road, and I slowed down, and I was like, what in the hell? And the guy behind me was like, what in the hell? And so he stopped. So I was able to pull right back in. And then I went into the left lane, and he was going to the next exit also.
Yeah.
So it was like, dude, you still had another mile to go, and you just pushed me off the road. I'm like, dude, what is up? And I looked at him, and he was sitting there, and I'm like, I bet you straight hardcore money that this guy had a gun in his car, and he was begging for me to say some shit. And that's the type of shit that would make the news, and Trump would be like, yeah, and that asshole jumped out at you. You had to shoot him. I mean, that's.
Well, it kind of made me think about this too. I'm actually doing the Game of Thrones book or whatever, right? And one quote kind of resonated with me when you said that. It was when, if people know about Game of Thrones, not everyone knows about Game of Thrones, but I'll tell you about Catelyn Stark, who was the mother of Robb Stark when he was about to go battle and everything. She told him, the graveyards are filled with brave men ready to go to battle, but a just man, a man that has diplomacy, he can go ahead and build kingdoms. Hey. So that can be you. Go ahead and build kingdoms instead of being that man in the graveyard.
That's wow. Yeah, no, that's real. That's something my daddy used to always say. You can be right, you can be dead right, but you can be right.
I like that.
And that's hardcore. Now, with that saying, take us to the next step.
All right. So yeah, we talked about the teachable moments are supported by our friends at 22 Until None, where they work to raise awareness and provide support to our veterans. So you can find them at www.22untilnone.org.
Outstanding. Yeah, that's awesome right there. 22 Until None. They just 22 members of our military kill themselves every day. That is the most gross thing that I ever heard in my entire life. If you're in the military and you need somebody to talk to, call me. I don't mind. I would love the conversation and meet you. You can find me, you can call me, get me, email me. I don't care what it is, carry the pigeon. You are important enough for me to be able to listen to because I care. I would rather take the time to listen to what's on your mind than mourn you at your funeral.
Right. So many of our veterans go through so much, and they definitely need to support because a lot of times we cannot see the things that they go through. Absolutely. And, a lot of times they have to hold that stuff in. And when you hold a lot of things in, that you see things, you feel that you don't have a voice. You may take it to the extreme. So that's great for their organization.
Absolutely. All right. Close us out, Mike.
Yeah, man. Well, it brings us to the end, man. We'd like to thank our sponsors of Major League Football, the Greek Ohana Action League, and 22 and None.
And as always, if you like what you see or you have an idea for content or like to be a guest on a show, please hit like button and subscribe to the show and hit us up, and we'll see what's going on. Now, thank you for watching this Cypher. Remember, there is no supposed to. Go out there and be the star of your own story.
Yeah, man. And until next time, I am Mike T with Tony B saying, make every day outstanding.
Outstanding. All right.